Hello, I'm Dr. Lexis Johnson, and this is Vibe It Up Multiple Streams of Wellness. We are here to present an opportunity for all of you to be edutained and learn all about alternative wellness treatments so you have choices. And today we have our guest, Dr. Doug Lehrer, back again. He's from Hollywood and he's a master transformational healer, a visionary, an innovator of cellular resonance, cell to soul healing, which is a powerful energy medicine system that finds and clears the traumatic stress that gets stuck in your brain and body and deeply affects and interferes with your health, your happiness, your relationships, and your success. Dr. Doug is the author of the 7 Quantum Healing Secrets. He's a board certified doctor of chiropractic and board certified quantum medicine doctor with the American Naturopathic Board of Medicine. Dr. Doug is the founder of the Lehrer School of Energy Medicine, and he has the Rich in Health Foundation, which is a not-for-profit that teaches doctors and healing professionals how to heal the stress, the emotions, the epigenetic generational patterns to activate your brain, body, and your soul's natural healing powers and embody your true self purpose, prosperity, and love consciousness. Dr. Doug has performed over 500,000 patient healings worldwide. He practices in Los Angeles, California. Dr. Doug helps many change-making luminaries, entrepreneurs, professionals, executives, royalty, athletes, celebrities, actors, producers, directors, writers, parents, children, and teens, and even me. Welcome, Dr. Doug Lehrer.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lexis, so much.
Oh, you're going to have to turn your volume up because I sound like I'm yelling compared to you.
Okay, how about that? Thank you.
Oh, that's a little bit better.
It's not as
All
better.
righty.
All
I'm
right.
going to also have to move my seat up because I'm a little low in the saddle here today. Okay, so we're talking today about anxiety. And
Yeah.
boy, oh boy, you can certainly help me with that, Doug, because I have had a very anxious couple of weeks here getting this show produced. So, all the rest of the world has their own problems with COVID and lockdowns, and now it's monkeypox this and this politician that. I think that there's a tremendous number of people out in the world today that are being affected by this pandemic and by, I don't know, just anxiety living in a stressful world today. Do you know the stats on that? And talk to us a little bit about your own struggles.
Yeah. Well, first of all, gosh, there is so many stats on anxiety right now. In fact, 1 in 4 children went to the hospital or saw doctors over the last 2 years. That's right.
Wow.
That's
For anxiety,
millions. That's millions of children
just
and
for anxiety.
teenagers just for anxiety.
Oh my goodness.
Just for anxiety.
Unbelievable.
And when you think about that, the statistics say that anxiety levels usually peak between ages 40 and 59, yet we have our children and teens, a quarter of them go, and half of them have reported, or more, serious anxiety, depression, panic attacks, loneliness, feelings of isolation, and so on. And
Hmm.
so that's huge because normally it's about 3 to 5% of children in the statistics, and it's gone up 1,000%.
Well, I don't even know if that normally statistic is accurate because when you look when you
Only
look
was
in countries,
reported.
when you look in countries that aren't, they're not even really countries, they're just tribes of people that have gotten, little pockets that have gotten left out of civilization. The people are happy people and the children are happy children. They don't even have a word in their language for anxiety or panic or any of those types of disorders that we have today. So I don't think that what we're going through is normal. I think, yes, we should have the fight or flight symptoms or system in our bodies because when something happens, we need to run away. We need to take action and the adrenaline
Right.
has to start working. But in today's day and age, we're constantly one second after the other. It's one problem after one problem. If it's not traffic, it's fighting with a spouse or, a member of the team that you work with, or something's going on. So
Yeah.
how did you get involved with dealing with anxiety? Did you have a personal experience?
Yeah, I did. try going to graduate school,
Oh,
becoming a doctor,
I
working
asked. I
working.
asked.
I worked over 40 hours a week, and I was in school from 7 a.m. 7 a.m. we started, and I was there till 3, 4 in the afternoon. And
Wow.
we just had a short break for some food for lunch. And
Hmm.
I mean, we're talking about all the intense subjects from neurology to epidemiology to rheumatology and physiology and so on. These are intense, medical school classes, and we have to learn them, and then we have to learn them well enough to then sit for a state board to get
Mm.
licensed in a board that doesn't want you to get a license. So yeah, I had anxiety, I was depressed, I had panic attacks. I did have chronic pain as well. I ended up, by the time I graduated from college, with 2 herniated discs and sciatic pain so bad I prayed to die, just intense.
Yikes.
And all this stuff was taking me down. Plus, I had these blood sugar spikes as well. I could, all that stuff going on. So, uh,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
Wow. So how did you get over all these fears? Because you used to have a fear of public speaking. I remember you telling me that. And you certainly don't have a problem today.
Oh, I used to be a stutterer.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That's it.
when I was in grade school, we had something called, like, the most stressful thing, current events, where we had to
Oh,
get
I
a
remember that.
newspaper and get in front of the class and report something in the news, right?
Yeah,
And I would
I remember
just
those
be
days.
terrified of that, and the kids used to spitwad me and throw papers at me. I don't know, when I got up there, the teacher was like in I don't know, La La Land. I live in I went to school in La La Land, Los Angeles, but I mean, they were like, I don't know, they were checked out, and I'm looking at the teacher, and they're reading a book or something, and I'm trying to give a current event. It was horrible. So when I used to get in front of people, I would just be terrified to speak. And then one day, I met a PR agent who said, a whole lot of things. You should be on, like, television and and the media and speak. I'm terrified. You'll be okay. No, I was not okay. I just in
Oh.
my but luckily, the same thing that healed my discs, the same thing that healed my physical pain, healed my emotional pain, and that was the energy medicine, quantum healing type work that I do and that I furthered and developed over the last 35 years. And I've literally helped thousands of people heal anxiety, thousands depression, ones that were medicated and now made that unnecessary because they were well. So I
Mhm.
discovered a few secrets in the secret causation of what happens and why they get stuck these
Mm.
patterns or up and down patterns of it. So yeah, we'll
So
talk about that.
if we could just jump back a second, you were saying about helping children. Do
Yeah.
you help children with your quantum resonance cell to soul healing? I mean, there's so many children diagnosed today with autism and ADHD and ADD, and they're on Concerta and they're on Wellbutrin and they're on Ritalin. Like,
Yeah.
seriously, is there nothing else we can do?
No, there's a lot we can do. Just not much you can do in the
No,
medical
tell me.
arena, because that's a drug-based, surgery-based, uh, uh,
Invasive
invasive
techniques or
practice.
technology.
That's
Yeah.
that's that's what they do. That's what they train them in. I have the same background as far as understanding the body, but I go much further in understanding the interrelationship, that everything's interrelated. Your
Mm.
mind, your body, your energy system, your soul,
Mhm.
all of
Mhm.
who you are has to be treated. And in my soul to
Exactly.
self healing, as I call it, we're addressing that whole person and finding the real causes. And I love treating kids. I mean, I've treated newborns. My kids, as soon as they popped out, boom, they were I
Have you
balanced their brain and
really?
nervous system. Oh yeah, it was great. It
Unbelievable.
was so fun. Like that, I
So
was there in
when
the
you work
living room
with
both
the baby,
times.
can do you see a significant difference? Like, do they giggle and laugh about it, or do they even notice?
No, they usually cry, actually, because
Oh.
they're traumatized.
We're
and
supposed to tell
you
them
touch,
that part.
and you touch you're not hurting them at all, but you're touching some different energy points on the head and the body, and it's all new to them, and it's like, but as soon as you finish, they kind of like go, they like they smile kind of, and they kind of like going, well, that was good.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
And it's funny, I have this one child, and I treated her mother before she got pregnant, and then during the pregnancy. So I'm treating the mother and the child in inside her, right? And then the
Mhm.
child's born. I treat her on her birthday, and I treat her intermittently over the course of the next year. And she was an early talker. Her mom happened to be a teacher,
Oh, perfect.
and brought and the little girl, came in when she's about 18 months old, and she goes, "Can you imagine this? An 18-month-old in a room with a doctor and her mom." And I treat the mom, and then
Mhm.
she goes, "Okay, it's your turn." She goes, "My turn," and she goes like this to the mother, "Leave the room." She gets
Mhm.
on the table, 18 months old, and I'm working with her. I says, "Are you stressed out about anything?" She goes,
Aw.
"I think about your mom," and I clear her anxiety on the mom. Think about your dad. Clear the anxiety on that. You got something else? She goes, "Mm, okay, think about that." And I touched some points and cleared it, and her whole body went into relaxation and balance. And she got a smile on her face. I said, "Anything else?" She goes, and she's good. She popped off the table. Then the mother
She was
came in the
That's
mother
cute.
came
She
in the
was
room and said, the reason we're here? Me and my husband have been kind of like going at it, like fighting, and like the tension was going on there. And
Mhm.
the little 18-month-old goes, "Time to see Dr. Doug."
Aw. That's so cute. So
So kids are
funny.
my favorite. I love working with kids. I love working with teenagers. What's so wonderful about my brand of energy medicine is the kids don't have to the teenagers don't have to tell me their problems. I can
Mm.
just tell them to think about
Yeah,
it,
that's
test
a
the
good point.
body, and see how their mind and emotions make the body tense up. And I get the
Mm.
pattern right away. See, we're programmed like a computer. So you just have to read the computer code, and they know how to delete the computer code. And that's the secret cause.
Yeah.
Oops, we're getting into it already. We're going to talk more about the secret cause of anxiety. It's a program. So once you experience the stress, you think it, you
Mm.
feel it, boom, it goes into subconscious memory as you go to sleep at night. So we want to
Interesting.
resolve things before we go to bed. We're not trained how to do that as people, are we? So then it goes into
No.
memory, and now it's running us day and night.
Okay,
Or
well,
when
on that note,
it pushes our
let's
butt,
go
our
to
anxiety.
let's go to a commercial, and Dr. Doug and myself, we have some gifts for you and maybe some surprise visitors in our commercials. So these are commercials you're going to want to watch. Grab your phone, put your camera on your phone, and scan the QR codes because we have some amazing gifts for you. And we'll be right back with Dr. Doug on Vibe It Up, Multiple Streams of Wellness. And we're back with Vibe It Up, Multiple Streams of Wellness. And I just want to give a big shout out to our man in the green room who's pushing all the buttons for me because God only knows I push all the wrong ones. And that's Arnold. And he just did a fabulous job creating that commercial for you, Doug. We are going
I
to
know it's
talk in a few
fabulous.
minutes.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk right now. What's in that free gift? If people just scanned it and downloaded it, what are they getting?
I wanted to help people immediately just with a relaxation technique that they can do at any time that'll at least help the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, your survival system and your healing system. The survival
Mhm.
system goes up here. That's what pushes us into anxiety, pushes your
Okay.
adrenal glands. We'll talk more about that. And just to help balance them in like 60 seconds. So you can at least like, have a breather and get back to, doing work and that kind of thing. We still want to resolve the deep cause, but at least this helps kind of get your brain, because it's a neurological problem, anxiety. So it
Mhm.
helps the nervous system calm down and kind of balance a bit more. So
Interesting.
it's really good.
Okay,
And
so
there's some other information on there too.
oh, I know there is. Your gifts are always amazing. So I
Yeah.
know we talked about you bringing a guest on to see if you could give us a demonstration. Do you have that guest with you?
I do. I
Do
do.
you want to do it now, or do you want to wait till after the next commercial?
Let's wait till the next commercial, because in 60 seconds I can set up the room and
Okay,
turn it into a treatment, the
that would
treatment
be amazing. I would love
itself.
that.
All
I
right.
would
So
love
stay
that. Okay,
tuned
so
for that.
in the meantime, I want to bring up a sore subject. And this is a surprise for you. I know you didn't expect to talk about this, and it is a sore subject with a lot of people, but why is it that quantum healers, energy workers, and other types of alternative wellness healers are able to effect such a complete difference? Because you've treated me a lot. You've treated members of my family and a lot of my friends, and it does make a difference. Why is it that the medical profession, the allopathic medical profession, doesn't know about this or doesn't do this? Like,
Well,
what's up with
I'll give an example. I practice here in Los Angeles,
that?
and I
Mhm.
treated a little girl who is only 7 years old, and she had this very bizarre leg condition in her bone. And she went to the specialist at UCLA,
Mhm.
and it wouldn't matter what medical school this story applies. So we're not
Right.
picking on them. I mean, it's a very fine medical institution.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah,
It's
and
not just
and
that one, it's all of them.
yeah, and I worked on her, and she healed this very rare bone disease thing.
Crazy.
And so the mother took her back to UCLA and talked to the doctor and showed him that she was completely well. The doctor didn't inquire why or how, and then the mother asked, "Do you know why? How she got well?" And the
Mhm.
doctor, here's what he said. He
She's
said,
in remission.
Was it a medical solution?" And she goes, "No." Then I don't want to hear about it.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? He said that?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So
Are his
that
hands tied somehow? Why would he not want to know?
You know,
He's a
because
he's like,
if
say this.
doctors, when medical doctors come into the consciousness that what they're doing, that there's a safe and effective alternative that treats the cause and gets the body to heal. See, your body is a natural healing organism.
Mhm.
Doctors don't heal. In fact, I
No,
don't
nobody heals.
technically
The
heal you,
body heals
but
itself.
I'm able to find the interference and
Mhm,
stress in your brain and nervous system and energy systems, and I can
mhm,
clear that stress and that activates your natural healing ability, and then you heal you. You go home, you go to sleep, and your body does all these millions of functions and heals.
mhm.
So they have been they're put into this box of what they do, and it's very threatening that there's something else out there that could really do a great job
Do
with
you really
people.
think that's what it is? Do you really think that's what it is, or do you think it has more to do with the pharmaceutical industries telling the doctors, "Here's free pills, give to your clients. These are the solutions that you need." And don't you think
So
it's because doctors weren't trained in any of these medication, any of these
they, they,
remedies? They weren't
they
trained
weren't
in nutrition?
they weren't trained in any of these things. In fact, and many of these things, like what I do, even though I've been pioneering this for 35 years, I'm you know science. What they're talking about out there is finally like in the forefront.
Mhm,
When I was doing this 20 and 30 and 35 plus years ago,
mhm,
with people, when it was very new, pioneering this road.
mhm,
So they don't know. They're not encouraged to find out or look for anything outside, medicine. They're
Mm.
inundated with so many patients and medical doctors are the lowest mortality rate of any professional
Ah,
out there.
I was wondering where you're going with that word lowest.
Yeah, lowest. Yeah, it used to be about 30 years ago. The average doctor lived 54 years. Now the doctors have realized, and it took a long time, they should stop smoking,
Mm,
take less drugs, and eat better food and nutrition. So
mm,
that is infiltrated more into medicine, and that's called functional medicine, where diet and nutrition is the
right.
direction that they're kind of opening up to, and that improved them 10 years, but it's
Mm,
still 10 years below the average person, 74-year-old male, 64-year-old male doctor. So
mm.
it's still lower, but uh, these things are there. So it's because all the stress, they're under so much stress with what they do in their
They sure
hospital.
are. I wouldn't
They
wanna
are,
be a medical doctor today,
they are.
even though
And then there's
I think I would have enjoyed being an actual doctor, but what I do as a nutritional consultant and as an energy worker, I think I get more satisfaction out of helping people. But we're going to go to a commercial right now. So you can grab your phones and put your cameras on. We can scan for another gift. And we'll be back with an example from Dr. Doug showing us with a real patient of his how he can help them get rid of their anxiety in just a few minutes. So we'll be right back. Get your phones. And we are back with Vibe It Up, multiple streams of wellness. And no, this was not the magic science of photography. Dr. Doug actually got his little studio medical practice room created and ready in that 1 minute commercial. So I hope you enjoyed downloading your gift. That one was from me on how to write a book. And this one is, or this moment in time is Dr. Doug with his demonstration. So I'm just going to let you take it away, Doug.
okay. Can everyone hear me good?
No, you're going to have to be really loud.
All right, I'm going to be louder, louder, louder. All right,
Louder,
let's
louder.
bring this in a little bit. Hello, everyone there. We're going to come back here. This is Brian.
You crazy guy.
Brian.
Hey, nice to meet you.
So we're going to start by working on Brian's brain and testing his brain. So this is his brain. These brain extenders right here. Good. And we're just going to have Brian do this. Brian, I want you to think about the anxiety, the stress that you've been under. And just think about it. And as soon as he thinks about it, good. I want you to think about the blue sky. Blue sky, that's a neutral thought. No stress about blue sky. We love blue sky. And hold, and his arms stay up. But as soon as he thinks about the stress and anxiety, his muscles.
So what you're doing right now is muscle testing, right? That's kinesiology, just so our audience knows.
It's even more specific. It's mind-body testing. I'm testing his mind and his brain, his thoughts, and how they affect his physical body. So
I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, so they short circuit it. Then I'm going to just test him here. You can see me. And just think about the stress. And you can see his legs tense up. Think about the blue sky. Blue sky, they turn in nicer. But think of the stress, and he tenses up. So this is how stress and anxiety affects us. Why it causes high blood sugar, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and so on. All those illnesses. All right. So think about the stress. And I want you to think about happiness, because what happens is his system, that's the frequency of energy we need. Take a deep breath in and focus on the stress, Brian, on that anxiety and the word happiness. And so I'm running the energy of happiness to cancel out the anxiety. And it's all energy, doing that with the energy from my hands. But that energy is universal pulse energy. The whole universe, everything is synchronized. When you're in sync with the universe, you're healthy.
So what are you doing with your hands exactly? Are you just
I am
holding points,
I'm
or
holding some points and repolarizing his brain. So when we get stressed,
okay.
our brain like fragments, like a computer hard drive fragments, and it's not communicating. And so
I
I'm
see.
running this positive energy through it, this higher energy of happiness through, and it defrags it instantly and reconnects it. Lift your head up and down. Good. Hold here. Think of that stress. And now when he thinks of that stress and anxiety, his body doesn't react, because that memory, its subconscious memory, was holding it. We just updated it like a computer. So it's now out of the fragmentation. Think of that stress, and he's more balanced here.
I can even see the difference in his feet.
Can you see how you can see how,
Yeah,
how,
I can
how
totally
much
see that.
turns in, because his whole body. So I want you to think about the tension in every cell of your body. And take a deep breath in. Just pardon me, think of the tension. So as soon as I have him think of tension, which is to fight a bear, he goes weak. So I'm finding a deeper level of tension in his body that's connected to the anxiety. Remember, mind and body is connected. Breath in, thinking of that tension, thinking of that tension. And I'm getting his body to see that he's lying on a table. He's not fighting a bear or a tiger or a mad dog. He is good. And then I get his brain to make the changes. And that's what's so powerful about this, is I'm getting his system to do the changes. So when he leaves here, he's going to continue to get better. All right? Take a deep breath in. There's more. Think about the tension in every cell of your body. Thinking of the tension. Every cell of your body. Thinking of the tension. And breathe. Bring your head up and down. Think of the tension. Say, I recognize the tension. Good. I recognize relaxation in every cell of my body. He doesn't recognize how to relax. So his body is programmed to fight a bear. So keep on thinking, I recognize relaxation. It's an issue around right and wrong. Take a deep breath in, hold your breath, eyes open and up. I recognize the tension in every cell of my body. I recognize the tension in every cell of my body. I recognize relaxation, in every cell of my body. Right. Head up and down. So he can't relax because of the fear that he might not be right. Can you recognize? You can relate to that in your life?
Yes.
Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath. Think, I recognize the relaxation in every cell of my body. 5, right. So this is a secret cause of the anxiety. It is the fear of not being right. Will I be right? Will I do the right thing? Will it turn out all right? He's got. I talked to him earlier today, and there's a bunch of things about, will it turn out all right? Correct? Yeah. Head up and down. But his body is telling me the right frequencies. So I'm literally communicating with his body and finding out what's really going on. And that's the power of this type of energy medicine, because the body and the brain knows why it's doing what it's doing. So why not ask it? You just have to be a good listener. So that's what I train. That's what I train people to do too. How to do this. I've trained doctors. I trained an ER doctor. He said he released 80% of the people every day by doing this on them. 80%, because it was stress that was causing their symptoms and anxiety. Breath in, hold your breath. There's
Let
more.
me ask you a question while you're doing that. What should people in the public audience know about anxiety that doctors aren't telling them that you could tell them?
You can heal it, number one, and you don't have to have it. Head up and down. You can update your brain, defragment your brain, and resolve
Okay.
the real issue.
Something you told me earlier that you're not mentioning that I want you to absolutely tell the audience that you told me is that they are not suffering from an anxiety drug deficiency.
Right. You're not exactly. Your problem is not a anxiety drug deficiency. The problem is you've experienced stress, a stress in your life. You recorded it in memory because that's what happens. Just like you recorded how to walk and talk and understand English or whatever language you speak, and those are all. It all comes out of memory, and so that's why stress becomes internalized inside your body. Once it's there, how do you get it out? Drugs don't get it out. Surgery doesn't get it out, but it will cause lots of health problems, like the majority of them. But what we do is we resolve the stress and get the system to go into its own self-healing process. And, if you don't have, let's say your anxiety was because you were in a car accident. And you're seeing the car accident, the car hit you over and over again. I know that happened to her, and then her car caught on fire. So she can't drive her car in the summertime because it's so hot in the car, she won't get into it. So she can't drive.
Oh God! Now you explained something to me. Back in 2009, just a couple of months after my husband passed away, I'm driving in California on the freeway, and I'm looking in the rearview mirror because I want to change lanes. There's nowhere for me to change. We're stuck in traffic, and the lady behind me is like this with her cell phone. She's like this, and you can see her in the rearview mirror, and she's like this, doing whatever she's doing. And I'm like, oh my God, she's going to hit me, and I could see it coming, and there was no place for me to go. She smacked into me and she pushed me into the car in front of me and the car in front of them. For months, years, I had this dream of this white, I'll say it, Mercedes ATV running into the back of me. And now it's like that was in 2009. It's a long time ago, right? So I'm kind of over it. But I will not buy a car that doesn't have a tire, like the spare tire on the back of it, because that's what saved my life. I didn't even know when the doctors when the ambulance took me to the hospital, I didn't even know who I was or what I did for a living. I didn't know where my purse was. I didn't know anything. And when I got back to my home, the doctors let me go back to my home. I didn't even know what I did for a living until I went into a room that had a cupboard, and I opened the cupboard and I saw all these bottles of supplements and went, oh yeah, I'm a nutritional consultant. I had no clue. But now I can drive other people's cars, but I'm very wary. But I will not buy a vehicle that doesn't have a tire right on the back, because that's what saved me.
So that wariness, I'd have to test you like that. I would have you think about the car accident and test like I did on Brian, and see if you still have a subconscious memory that is running your body and emotions. If you do, then we touch the right points on your head and body, and we get it to resolve it. It's like a delete button. Just think, you got a virus in your computer, you've got corrupted program software, but you're able to push the right button and it deletes it, and boom, it defrags the computer. Again, I'm a computer guy, but I am a people person, and it works very similarly. So we can help people to resolve these stresses. And the next question people always ask, you know what the question is, right?
Okay, well, wait. Before we do that, let's go to a commercial, and we'll have another gift, and you can set your room back up so we can talk some more, because you're a little far away and your computer's a little bit scrubbing a bit. We'll be right back, folks. Get your phones out, put your camera on, and screen the QR code, because we have another gift for you. And we'll be right back with Vibe It Up, Multiple Streams of Wellness, and Dr. Doug Lehrer.
We'll be right back.
We're back.
Okay.
Excuse me, I was eating a chocolate. Excuse me. We're back with Vibe It Up, Multiple Streams of Wellness, with Dr. Doug Lehrer, talking about how to relieve your anxiety without having to resort to medications and invasive techniques. Take the floor. We had a question on the stand here. What are you going to tell us?
Oh God, that one already went away. The key
Okay, so
is
what's the
that,
mechanism of anxiety and mental issues then? Let's go with that. Let's start there.
so what happens is you experience a stress. Now, sometimes, even oftentimes, the stress is responding to your mother or your family's thoughts and feelings when you're a baby.
Oh my goodness. Your mom,
You
huh?
ever been somewhere and the parents are fighting, the baby's screaming and everything like that? And if you look at the two parents, you can tell that they're just all stressed out. It was their stress in the first place that probably set off the child. And so our thoughts and feelings go into our kids. And it's just the way it is. So it's not about blaming, it's just about awareness on how we do affect children. And we were children. So our parents affected us and our grandparents and so on. So these memories are the software on how we react and respond to anything. And so when people go like, I don't know why I'm in panic, I don't know why I feel so much anxiety at this moment. Well, something pushed, we all know about pushing buttons, right? Something pushed a button that's out of your conscious awareness. And then all of a sudden you have a symptom, high blood pressure or sudden pain. Pain in your shoulder, whatever it is, or anxiety, or feel depressed or sad. And so what we do is find where it is, find where in the brain, where in the body that memory is, and then we delete it and update the program and its responses to present need. Well, there's no bear or tiger in this moment. There might have been 20 years ago. It might even have been a bear and tiger in your parents' life. Now that's cleared. We call it clearing or updating the subconscious memory from the soul to the cell. So from the energy, soul energy, to the cellular functions. And then the body restores that balance and out of the anxiety.
You just kind of explained something to me. You know how you sometimes bump into people, and I don't mean literally, but you run
Oh,
across people and you just kind of not like them right from the get-go and you don't know why. It's probably because of those kinds of cellular memories from way back and had nothing to do with who the person is in the world. Is that, maybe I'm on the wrong track or the right track? I know
no,
that's
you're on
kind
the
of
that's true in many cases. You know, either it's your deeper awareness that
mm,
knows that this isn't a good person, a good energy match. They're not telling you the truth. There's something, that you just know.
it's
That's
just
just a
off.
know. That's just a knowing in your heart, and that's very
Mm,
important to trust your gut on those things. But a great deal of the time, that person is triggering a fear
mm.
based memory, whether that fear is in the form of sadness or loneliness or anger or hate or worried, whatever it is. And it's just pushing a program. And
Mm-hmm.
so when that happens, then it's not about that person at all.
No,
Their energy just happened to
it was a
flip the
trigger, right?
trigger. Yeah, and they could say a word that was a trigger word that your parents used to say, and then that gets you upset. Like someone saying, "Relax," you know.
Push a
Don't get
button.
your yeah, exactly. And
Don't get your
so
panties
they
in a
didn't mean
twist.
to. That's the one I was trying to get, and I know there's a panty one, but I just can't get to it. Thank
Okay,
you.
so let
So
me
yeah,
ask
the panty
you.
trick. Yeah.
So what's this mechanism though that causes this? Like we're talking about being stuck in survival mode, right? Because the pushing of the
Right.
buttons and the panties in the twist bit, that's all survival mode stuff, right?
Right. So we know it as a fight or flight response, or if we want to elaborate it, the fight, fright, flight, or bite response.
Fight,
And
flight, fright. Fight, flight, and fright,
fight,
right?
fright, flight, bite.
Oh, okay. So there's an
Hey,
extra one
right? That's real primal, like that. You ever have your kid bite you when they're little? Fight or
Not
flight,
very
or
often,
bite,
but some kids do.
or a dog, yeah, or a dog, right? So it's the fight or flight uh, response, also known as the fear response, also called the adrenal response, because our brain sends a message to the adrenal glands to produce hormones that get your heart going so you can run from the bear.
Adrenaline and cortisol,
Adrenaline and
right?
cortisol, yep, are the
See, I
primary
know
ones.
this because that's what I'm an expert in is as a nutritional consultant, we work with, or I work with people who are incredibly stressed. And if you have adrenal exhaustion, which some people don't believe is even a thing, I've had it and
No,
it's
real.
been healed within me, and it takes about 2 years to heal within others. And that's part of why I help with that syndrome in people because of that. But I do it energetically, but I do it also with nutrition and food sensitivities and things like that. But you have a much more comprehensive way of working with the energy. Sounds to me like you can heal it a lot faster than over the 2 years.
Oh, yeah. And the reason it can do that is every organ gland replaces itself in several months. So most is like in 4 months, most organs and glands are new. There's some that take less time, some more, but more or less you replace your organs, 3-4 times a
But
year.
isn't that because every cell in the body has memory? So it's cellular memory that keeps you
Right.
stuck in the old patterns? Yeah.
Exactly. So the memory is still there. So even though they're replacing cells, the memory is still there saying, fight that bear, fight that tiger, respond to your angry father, respond to a teacher flunking you in first grade, being a slow reader and all the kids making fun of you, right? So all
Yeah,
those
right.
things there's so many different triggers. We have those. And people usually say like, I'll go see you forever. Well, you know what? If we find the main ones that program you in, you'll heal a whole illness. That's
Ah.
cool. And another set of them, another illness, and another set. I've
Does
had
it have
people.
to does it have to be the main triggers or any triggers will affect, or how does that work?
Well, we want to get to the main programmed memory that's
Because I
there.
know a lot of the time people don't remember it happened when they were so little or when they were moms were
That's
pregnant
what I'm
with them. How
talking
do they
about.
know?
They don't remember it, right?
Right.
So we all have those kind of memories, and that's the baseline of our other
Oh,
childhood experiences put on top of those epigenetic or family
right,
induced memories, and then
right.
those are running our DNA. That's running our genetics. That's running our organ, really all our functions, our hormones, our nervous system. But when you are able to resolve those memories from at the cellular level, the subconscious level, and the energetic levels, because that's what we are, a mind, body, and soul energy.
Body and soul,
When we when
exactly.
we when we do that, then we can have a permanent shift unless we
Exactly.
have another true, car accident that'll put another memory in us. But most people aren't getting in a car accident every day. Most people aren't getting
Well, I
beat
do
up.
know this one guy gets in an awful lot of accidents, but we're going to come right back. We're going to do another commercial. So grab your little cell phones, put your cameras on, because we have another gift for you. So let's be right back. And we're back with Vibe It Up, multiple streams of wellness with Dr. Doug Lehrer. And that last commercial was for a summit that's coming up this September where I'm a keynote speaker and Dr. Doug will be speaking there as well. So make sure you get your ticket and register when you scan that code. So Dr. Doug, we've been talking about anxiety. Can you tell us a little bit more about exactly how you help people with anxiety? Because I know we've been given the demonstration, and I understand energy work, but not everybody in our audience does. So can you go a little more in depth about it for us, please?
Yeah, let's just just start at the
Give some
basics
examples.
and work up. Yeah. So what happens
Sure.
is when you get stressed about something, have an experience, whether it's a car accident or a fall, or you get yelled at, or you get fired from a job, or you're worrying about money because you got fired from that job, or you know they did a research study on the news and found that during the pandemic, the fear-based news
Mhm.
panicking people about you know uh, COVID virus
Yeah.
literally programmed people in 15 minutes is all it took, and it did not go away. They still had, even when they turned off the TV set, they still had those impressions and those reactions and those
Mhm.
worries and fears in their system. So
Yeah.
what I do with my work, no matter what is causing it, and 90% of the time people have no idea what the stress is, I'm able to
Mhm.
talk to your brain and cells. They know what you're reacting to because they're reacting to it, right?
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
reacting to it from memory. So I've learned how to literally talk and communicate with the body and figure out what it is. And more importantly, the code, the stress code that's going on in your system, the
Mhm.
anxiety codes, and deprogram it step by step. That's what you saw me do on Brian. I touched some
Yeah.
points and I tested them another way and then another way because I was going through the different ways anxiety will go into the body, into the brain, and I basically decode it. As I decode it, it erases that stress. And if you don't have the stress, then you don't have the anxiety. If you don't have the
So wait a
stress,
second here. So wait a second. Let me back you up a minute. What do you mean by decoding? Because there's no handbook out there that says these are the codes. Input this. I mean, it's our brain. The computer is compared to the brain. The brain shouldn't be compared to the computer because we were here before the computer. But
absolutely.
there's no code that you can just say put zeros and ones in this order and put it in your
No,
brain
no,
and you're
you
going
got
to.
to find out the
How
exact.
to do this?
Each person is different. If you noticed, I found on Brian that
Mhm.
I needed to run the energy of happiness through the anxiety. And for
Mhm.
him, that was true. And I pulsed through his nervous system this
Mhm.
vibration of happiness alongside. I'm always working in the frequency of love, along with
Okay.
love. And
Okay.
love heals. Love is that ever
I
present
agree with.
universal energy. And so that
Yep.
universal energy went there. I had him focus on happiness because the anxiety put him out of phase with happiness. So he was running fear of losing happiness, and then that was causing the anxiety. That was individual on Brian in this moment. And he's over here going, nodding his head and kind of laughing. Yeah, that's exactly it. And
Okay,
so,
so okay, wait a
well,
second.
Brian, I find what's necessary on every patient.
Wait a
And
second, wait a second, wait a second. So hold the press. Bring Brian on the camera for a second. Was Brian prepared
Brian,
to tell
come on over here.
Okay.
All right.
is he prepared to tell us what his experience is in a couple of sentences?
I'm sure he could.
Oh yes. Hi. Oh.
Hey Brian, pleased to meet
Hi.
you. Move on over. We
Oh
just
yeah.
want a couple of sentences. Tell us what your experience is with Dr. Doug today.
Oh my gosh,
How
it's
do
a
you feel?
miracle. I've tried every healer, everything, and only I'm telling you, Dr. Doug's the only one that's helped me, and it's instant and it works, and you know that it does, and nothing else has worked. So Dr. Doug is the best, and I can't say enough. And every time I do a session, I just want to do more, and it's literally the best. I've tried all around the world. I've tried everything. I don't want to mention what I've tried, but it's everything. This Dr. Doug is the real deal, and he has healed me, my anxiety, my depression, my suicidal thoughts. I'm so happy and
Wow.
in alignment, and every day I feel like it's a chance to improve myself and heal and be happy. And before it was just anxiety and depression that I never felt or experienced, and I didn't know what to do. Dr. Doug, he does what he says he does, and so our bodies do heal. You have to
Yeah.
see and experience it yourself because Dr. Doug removes the blockages and the anxiety, all the things that prevent your body from healing itself, he realigns it, removes it, and then you feel it. And
So let me ask you a question, Brian, while I've got you on the camera here. Did Dr. Doug pay you to say this?
No, he did not. He literally said, he's a miracle worker. I'm so serious. And, I'll just say, I've tried acupuncture, yoga, massage, everything. Those things just scratch the surface. Dr. Doug gets into the cause, removes the causes and stresses that in ways that other things have not done or that I needed. Dr. Doug is the real deal. I mean,
well, thank you very much, Brian. We
thank you.
appreciate you.
Well, thank
You can go relax. Thank you so much. Wow. Well, that was a great example.
Yeah.
I wonder what other bribes you had to do to get him to see that. That's an amazing testimonial
This is
for you.
commonplace. You can pick up my phone anytime and look at the text, and you'll see it's patients saying, I had the best day of my life today, Dr. Doug, after your treatment. I hear things that's
Unbelievable. So let me ask you, what's Dr. Doug, what is your success rate in helping people with anxiety, with OCD or panic attacks, depression, and other mental issues? What's your success rate?
Well, I'm going to preface that on people who want to get well, who are willing to let me help them deal and heal the real stress causes. Because, sometimes we have to take people through, if a person really feels harmed, or abused, that's creating their problem. There's some processes that I take them through to make sure that they're really letting go so they can get to this gratitude and a different way of thinking about what happened in the past so it can free them. So it is an individual process with each person that involves unconditional love, forgiveness, gratitude, but through the body. You have to do it through the body. That's what makes it work. And because we are a mind and a body and the energy. So you have to work that powerful.
We need to write that down and have a discussion about that. We're almost at the end of our show, and I want to do one more commercial, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about what's in your gift and a few closing words, and then that'll be the end of our show for today. But folks, get your cameras out. Let's see if we can scan that gift one more time. Put your cameras on and let's scan away. We'll be right back with multiple streams of wellness and Vibe It Up and Dr. Doug. And we're back with Vibe It Up, multiple streams of wellness with our special guest, our returning guest, Dr. Doug Lehrer. And that gift was about methods and techniques that people can use at home for relieving their anxiety. Is that correct? And it's part of your technique. Am I right?
It's part of some of the things that I do. Yes. Of course, what I do is very broad. I mean, pretty.
Can you give us a little hint what's in the book?
What was that?
Can you give us a little hint what's in the book?
Oh, in the book is
it's not a book. It's a gift. It's just a couple of pages, but it's very valuable, right?
It's a simple breathing exercise that you can do while you're driving the car, sitting at your desk.
That's a great idea.
You're at the dinner table and some things are bothering you, and you can just kind of do this a certain breathing that helps the nervous system calm down.
Yeah.
And balance out. But earlier you asked me, what's my success rate? And it's very, very high with people who want to get well, who are willing to work as a team with me. I'm near 100%. Now, I want to be clear. I don't heal people, and I make no claim of diagnosing, treating, or curing illness. What I do is help people resolve the stress that created their problem, get their brain, body, and energy system, soul to integrate and raise the cellular functions. And that's what gets people well, is helping to activate your own self-healing systems, because you're that powerful of a being. Doctors don't tell you that. You think you need them to do something, but most of the time, because sometimes you do need a medical doctor to, like,
Of course.
pull the knife out and and make sure you don't bleed to death. So
Set the broken bones. Okay,
yeah.
so Dr. Doug, you're going to be back next week. We're at the end of our show here. Do you happen to know what we're talking about next week? Because you're on our multiple streams of wellness next week as well.
Next week, I guarantee it'll be something really cool and good. If everyone wants to write into the show or however they communicate with you, I'm happy to talk. If I get a rave review, Dr. Doug, talk about this. We want to know about this. How do you heal that? How do you help that? Then please let me know. I've helped literally hundreds of thousands of people, all different kinds of conditions, chronic, terminal, all sorts of pain conditions, all the different emotional conditions, grief, anxiety, depression, and I'm happy to talk on any of those subjects. And it's really about healing you, what's really running you. And then when you're free from that,
we're on it. We have Vibe It Up, multiple streams of wellness, Vibe It Up on Facebook group, and we are on YouTube, Roku, E360, and all kinds of other places, LinkedIn Live and Amazon Fire and all kinds of places. So tune in next week, folks, where we'll be back with Dr. Doug Lehrer. And if you stick around for a few more minutes, we're going to have our multiple streams of consciousness show with Zen Benefiel coming right up.
Ooh, sounds good.